afternoon and welcome to the Bio Breakthroughs podcast. I'm David Scholl with Russo Partners, and I have the privilege of being the first guest host of this podcast. And you got to love Jared for the work that he does. You want a little slice of bio, you want some pharma and technology innovation, we've got it for you today. Joining us on this podcast is Michael Demurjian. Michael is the founder, president, and CEO of Aspargo Laboratories. Mike, coming in from the home office in Jersey on the river. Mike, how are you today?
I'm doing spectacular. How are you, David?
I'm doing great. I'm in a remote location on the Ohio River here in Cincinnati, while you're on the river there in Jersey. Mike, let's talk about Aspargo and the fact that one of the challenges that you look to address in pharmaceuticals is some of the top selling or most of the top selling drugs today are pills. We are all accustomed to pills. We live in a pill nation, but we know that pills often present challenges. Tell us about that, and then we'll move on to how we can address it with what you've developed at Aspargo.
Well, first of all, David, thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure to speak with you. When you look at Aspargo, we should talk about two things. One is absorption, the next is adherence. Whenever you look at a pill, be it RX or even an OTC product, there is inefficiency. Think about it. You take a pill or a tablet, it goes into your stomach, and then it's processed with food and acid and all the other things that could be present in your stomach. And somehow that API, the important ingredient in the drug, is going to get into your bloodstream. And I saw right away an opportunity to create a more efficient way of taking our medications. And there is where Aspargo was founded, in creating highly absorbent solutions that allow more efficient uptake of medications, both RX and OTC.
So, Mike, help the listener to understand. So, efficient administration. There are some people who have a challenge swallowing pills, especially older patients. So there are multiple benefits if we can take medicines that we know are effective and change the way that we can deliver them.
That's correct. So there's a lot of folks, especially now, right, with an aging population, that develop what they call dysphagia. And they have the challenges and the inability to swallow. And that can be attributed to physical injury, or could be early onsets of the indications of Alzheimer's. And what we've designed are liquids, both liquid and suspensions, that actually start the absorption takes place in a buccal. So you have a lot of the absorption taking place in a buccal, esophageal, and GI absorption before it gets in the stomach. It's a simple matter of just squirting in your mouth, and before you even swallow, many points of absorption have already occurred.
So, Mike, when you talk about pill is a challenge, that's one way of delivering. There are other ways to deliver medicine, sub-Q injections and more, but you're using technology to create oral spray formulation, or oral pump bottle formulation. And I know you've got one there with you, we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yep.
But this is nothing new in terms of delivering something orally, but you have a new approach, we believe, to improve the way these drugs are delivered, absorbed, and produce better results. So tell us more about that and what you've seen so far in evaluating.
You've hurt my feelings. This is absolutely new. In fact, our suspension technology is patented and protected. You know, if we want to go and take a pill and make it into liquid, go to any compound pharmacy.
Oh, no, Mike, let me be clear. Oral or liquid is not new. That's not. But your formulation, how you manufacture it, brings advantages. That's where we want to focus. That's the innovation that we want to learn more about today.
Yeah. So today, without disclosing the actual black box of how we do it, we can take almost any low soluble drug or soluble drug and reformulate it into what I call our trident. That has to do with particle size, viscosity, and masking. And the secret is, if you can optimize the particle, create the ultimate pH where the characteristics of that particle wants to absorb, okay, prior to going into the stomach, and then creating a masking agent coating that dissolves only when it touches plasma, touches blood. You now have higher concentration, Cmax, in the bloodstream. Let me give you an example. It's one thing, I love about a lot of these early stage companies. They turn around and they give you a lot of theories, but they don't have facts. We have facts. We have a product. It's already selling. Okay. We're selling in the European market and people are paying attention. Okay. Our first product to market is an oral spray sildenafil that now is showing a 5-minute absorption time on an empty stomach, 10-minute absorption time with food present. That makes us a standalone. There is no other ED product that works in 10 minutes on a full stomach. Ours does. No
So,
more
Mike,
planning.
so I think it's important to note. So you have commercial product
Correct.
with this oral suspension. You've got it in Europe, and we know you're working to bring products into the US, including this. So this is all based on the secret sauce and the technology platform. What else can you do with this technology? So if the first application, and I want to come back to it in a little bit, is erectile dysfunction, huge market, as we know.
Yeah.
We get bombarded by advertisements on social media and on television for hims and hers and others, where you can access this without even having to go see a doctor in an office. It's all telehealth these days. So you've got this first product, but isn't this really a platform technology that enables you to apply it and create additional product candidates?
Absolutely, David. And what you're talking about now is really creating a paradigm shift on how people perceive taking their drugs. We're working in areas of oncology, cardiology. It's endless on where we can apply this because there's so much inefficiency on how drugs are currently absorbed in the body when they're consumed as a pill or a tablet. But just to move things along, we have already repurposed and perfected an oral spray metformin. So we will have the only post GLP-1 user weight loss maintenance program available for everyone starting in July here in the US markets off our telehealth platform alongside our HisQ oral spray. Again, these are just precursors of all the drugs we're going to be bringing to market. I hate to say this, but you and I both know vanity prevails and captures everyone's attention. So the first 3 drugs I'm coming out to market, one is for erectile dysfunction, one is for weight loss, and the third one is hair loss. We're doing an oral spray finasteride.
Yeah, I know you were looking directly at me when you provided the information about hair loss. I think it's a perfect segue. So, Mike, oral suspension. So
Yes.
people think of oral suspension as Dimetapp cough syrup, for example. I was a kid, we used to get that from my mom. And if you were a little bit restless and more, you drink it and it would calm you down, antihistamine. But this actually, you deliver it with a little spray or pump. Can you show our audience what it is and just explain that? This is first generation, I was told. And then
this is the first generation, right?
We'll start with first generation, and then we'll go to what's coming next.
Yeah, this is what's selling right now in Europe. It's under the brand name of HisQ, and every time you dispense it, it dispenses exactly half a cc, which is equivalent to, say, 12.5 milligrams of Viagra, because this is an oral spray sildenafil. The next generation that we're coming out in the U.S. markets is going to look like this, more like a vaping device, where you'll just discreetly be able to pump it. The HisQ and the oral spray metformin, which we haven't named just yet, will be coming out in this one. We like the discretion of this, but ultimately, everything is going to evolve into this. And this is the future of drug delivery. What you see here, I've nicknamed it the companion, is where you now have cartridges that are inserted. And once they are, it activates your phone to tell you what drug is in there and how it's been prescribed by your physician and when you're supposed to take it. But it doesn't stop there. There's a whole new network that never existed before that now exists today. Every patient from now on will have 24/7 support from their physicians because this device links right back to the doctor's office. So now nurse practitioners, office managers can monitor the patients for the physician and see in real time how their patients are dosing the drugs they've been prescribed. But it doesn't stop there. There's a friends and family network.
We need to look before you keep saying, here's the showcase, so we'll look behind door number 3 and 4. So keep going, because remember, we're talking about breakthroughs and innovation.
Right. And this device also has a friends and family network on it. So now if someone forgets to dose and you're in their friends and family network, you'll get a text message that'll alert you right away. so and so, a loved one, an aging family member, or a
Well,
child.
Mike, I have to ask this question, and Jared would insist. So let's start with the erectile dysfunction product. Who's it going to notify? Your partner?
We would prefer not to put any sildenafil in these. We're really talking about all the chemotherapy drugs we're working on, seizure medicines, beta blockers, and so forth. Where it's look, we have it actually in the program on the app that the sildenafil, it's highly highlighted in a red to say that this is not on the network and that it's for your own discretion. So if you choose to put it on there, you can, but I'm sure most people won't. But as far as the rest of our drugs, they will be on there.
Got it. So we understand the problem, pills, administration of it don't necessarily provide the best effect because of absorption, ends up in the stomach. We know about the delivery under the tongue and the buccal cavities, as we call. You've
Right.
got oral suspension in a little pump bottle, so it's a spray, so easy to administer. Just about anybody can do it. You don't have to worry swallowing a pill. You're starting with a very large market of erectile dysfunction. You have the product on the market in Europe, and you're looking at other applications as well as this connected device. So, in the near term, what should the BioBreakthroughs viewers look for coming from Aspargo as we move through the rest of 2025?
Well, two big things. We're going to be announcing our IPO. We're going to be getting listed here in the near future. Alongside that, we're also going to be announcing our telehealth platform and a branding partnership that we'll be announcing here in the immediate future with one of the major players out there as we speak. So, come July, you'll be able to start purchasing online through our telehealth physicians both the sildenafil and the weight loss metformin. By Q4 this year, we'll have 4 additional products available. 3 of them will be OTC. Another one will be an additional RX product, which we talked about before, which is finasteride. But we're very excited. We're expanding rapidly. We're also introducing a number of our products into additional countries in Europe. We have Belgium, Netherlands, and Austria online to be launched in the next quarter.
Great. Mike, for those who are interested in learning more, where can we send them to go and get information about Aspargo Labs? It is a fascinating story, I must say. And I know Jared told me we deal a lot with companies that are moving through oncology clinical development programs, data slice after data slice. Some of these early stage biopharma companies struggle right now to get funding, but you have commercial product and you have technology. So I'm sure that many of the viewers will want to learn more. Where can they go to find information on Aspargo?
Well, I would highly recommend they go and click on and put in www.aspargolabs.com, and that's ASPARGO labs, LABS.com. In there, in our website, you'll be able to garner additional information. You'll also be able to see the pipeline of additional drugs and OTC products that we're bringing to market. I want to emphasize 2 key things here. Absorption is key. Absorption is key. It's all about absorption at the end of the day. Yes, the faster onset is amazing, but think about this, David. The pharmaceutical companies have spent billions of dollars perfecting APIs, drugs, medicines to help people. But there's an inefficiency in the pill form, in the tablet form. And we are 100% committed and focused towards the patient and giving them a better experience and a better outcome because they're going to have more of a highly absorbed drug now in the form of our suspension because that's what we're focused on getting that API to get in the bloodstream. But again, the end result here is a simple one: improved lifestyle. You and I joke around a lot, but at the end of the day, there are people out there that are suffering. And if we can provide them a more efficient uptake, we're going to give them a better outcome. We know that. We're going to save lives. And then when it comes to adherence, one of the key issues is adherence. By the time a patient walks out of a doctor's office and gets that reception desk, over 70% of them don't even remember what the doctor said. Maybe it's white coat, they're nervous, they're sick, they're not feeling well, whatever it is. That device, that day is over. This device stays with them and guides them so that they're never alone again. And nobody walks around without this. So, marrying of this, we have 29 patents that were issued on this one. Okay, but footnote happened to be designed, developed by my son. Yeah, he's still waiting for a bonus, but we'll talk about that another time. The point is, though, this is a game changer. We've presented this at ASCO. We've presented this to the American Heart Foundation. There hasn't been a physician or any of the assisted living facilities or the nurses associations that have come out and said, when is this product available? We're aiming for Q4 of this year to launch this. Okay.
That's incredible. Mike, I know that we're just about out of time. Here's what I suggest. We know that you have a lot coming up, so many milestones for this company. This is Bio Breakthroughs, and our audience will love to hear about this innovation and how you've connected the dots. So we encourage you to come back on and we can share more of the progress as the company advances. But congratulations to you and the team, because it sounds as if you're onto something very important and solving a major problem, and doing so with applications that we all know people can benefit from.
Thank you, David. And David, I only agree to come back on if you're host.
I appreciate that. Next time I'll be in the Miami studio across the state from Jared. But thanks to everybody. This is an episode of Bio Breakthroughs, and we look forward to seeing you on a future episode. Have a good day.
Thank you.